like people. I'd like some paper people. They'd be purple paper people, maybe Papa purple paper people. Proper Papa purple paper people. And how do you proper Papa purple paper people? I hear you cry, will I? I'd proper Papa purple paper people with a proper Papa purple people paperclip. But I'd prepare appropriate adhesives as alternatives, a cheeky pack of blue tack just in case the paper slips. Because I could build a pop-up metropolis, but I wouldn't want to deal with all the paper people politics. Paper politicians with the paper-thin policies, broken promises without appropriate apologies. Here in America, in every single state, they have a set of standards for every subject. A collection of lessons the teacher is required to teach by the end of the term. But the greatest lessons you will ever teach us will not come from your syllabus. The greatest lessons you will ever teach us, you won't even remember. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust, I'll rise. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We must accept finite disappointment, but we must never lose infinite hope. In a constantly changing world, it is inevitable that each and every one of us must encounter heartache and struggle. Yet through the words of these three poets, we see the only way we can continue to move forward is by coming together over the one quality that makes us truly human: hope." A woven poetry program including Paper People by Harry Baker, Somewhere in America by Brave New Voices, and Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides. Just like hope springing high, still I rise. Maya Angelou is prohibited because you aren't allowed to talk about rape in school. Still I rise. We're told that just because something happens doesn't mean we talk about it. Still I rise. They build us brand new shopping malls. We'll forget where we're really standing. On the bones of the Hispanics, on the bones of the slaves, on the bones of the Native Americans, on the bones of the people who fought just to speak. Still we rise. There'd be a little paper me and a little paper you. And we could watch paper TV and it would all be pay-per-view because the paper propaganda propagates the people's prejudices. Papers printing pictures of the photogenic terrorists. A little paper me and a little paper you. And in a pop-up population, people's problems pop up too. There'd be a pompous paper parliament who remained out of touch and ignored the people's protests about all the paper cuts. Somewhere in America, there's a child sitting at his mother's computer reading the homepage of the KKK's website. But that child will never have to read To Kill a Mockingbird because the school has banned it for saying the N-word. Still I rise. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still like dust, I'll rise. Somewhere in America, there's a child holding a copy of The Catcher in the Rye, and there's a child holding a gun. But only one of those things has been banned by their state government, and it's not the one that can tear through flesh. Still I rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes. Shoulders drooped like teardrops, but still instead I'll rise. Girls blackout drunk at the after party, quick! Take a picture before her wounds, wake her. How many pixels is your sanity worth? What's a 4.0 to a cold jury? What'd you learn in class today? Don't walk fast, don't speak loud, keep your head down, keep your hands to yourself, keep your eyes on your own paper. If you don't know the answer, fill in C. Always wear earbuds when you ride the bus alone. If you feel like someone's following you, pretend you're on the phone. A teacher never fails. Only you do. And there'd still be paper money, so there'd still be paper greed. And the paper piggy bankers pocketing more than they need. Purchasing the potpourri to pepper their paper properties. Others live in poverty and it ain't acknowledged properly because Mama works for the city. Mama only gets paid once a month. Kids are late to class for working the midnight shift. They give awards for best attendance, but not for keeping your family off the streets. Transcontinental railroad to Japanese internment camps. There are things missing from our history books. But we were taught that it's better to remain silent than to make them uncomfortable. Out of the huts of history's shade, I rise. Out of a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. Origami armies unfold plans for paper planes, and we remain imprisoned in our own paper chains. But the greater shame is that it always seems to stay the same. What changes is who's in power, choosing how to lay the blame. They're naming names, forgetting these are the names of people. Because in the end, it all comes down to people. I like people. Because even when the situation's dire, it's only ever people who are able to inspire. And on paper, it's hard to see how we all cope. But at the bottom of Pandora's box, there's still hope, and I still hope because I believe in people. People like my grandparents, who every single day since I was born have taken time out of their day to pray for me. That's 7,892 days straight of someone checking I'm okay, and that's amazing. You see, people have the potential to be powerful. Just because the people in power tend to pretend to be victims, we don't have to succumb to that system. And a paper population's no different. There'd be a little paper me, and a little paper you. And in a pop-up population, people's problems pop up too, but if the whole world fell apart, we'd still make it through. Because somewhere in America still, I rise. Because we're people.